Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
I'm talking about for the camera. All right.
Okay, peace, y'all.
Peace.
I want to take this time while we all together, because we the reason why the earth, and the sun haven't collided yet. So, since we all together, I want to collectively meditate on awakening our full potential. It ain't going to take about 2-3 minutes because we don't have a lot of time. But everybody know position. Fill your stomach with air. And just constantly meditate on awakening our full potential. Shame. Word, I know y'all felt that. I did too. You know? All right, I'm gonna turn it over to the guide. Peace.
Tonight we're gonna get into the science of melanin and the electromagnetic force fields, in which that we deal with on an everyday basis, and also on how to manipulate them and use what is called astral powers, as well as also dealing with the science on how to tap into the magi, which is nothing more than, as the brother was breaking down in the last part, the guide gene, which is the magic genie within you. All right? I got some joint ready here. Where's that? Over here? Nah.
Down. There you go. Man, Chakra. I try that.
All right, before I go into the slides, we're going to go into this information I found in the New York Times. It was an article called "A Float in a Cosmic Hall of Mirrors." And it reads, revealed that scientists found alien matter in dark matter or otherworldly dark matter. Some scientists speculate that mirror matter is trapped in another dimension, stuck inside the amount to a parallel universe. All right. Now we know that you go to the Holy Bible, it speaks about in Isaiah, the 45th chapter, the 3rd verse, it says, I will give thee the treasures of darkness. In Psalms 18:11, it speaks about he, which is talking about God, made darkness his secret place. It also speaks about in Amos, the 5th chapter, the 18th through the 20th verse, that the day of the Lord is darkness, not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it. All right? So therefore, a cosmocologist has concluded that the universe probably could not have evolved the way that it has unless most of the dark matter is not just dark, but invisible. In other words, made for some type of fancy, finer material, but they just call it stuff. Right. They don't know what the hell it is. It's stuff to them. You know what I'm saying? And as a matter of fact, I don't know if y'all remember in school when they used to do the science of doing the so-called nucleus, and then when they got to the heart of the nucleus, then they would just call it stuff. They wouldn't tell you that that stuff was actually melanin. You know what I'm saying? So then it says that neither emits nor reflect light. All right? And then it goes also, it says that the Nobel Peace winner, a physicist named Richard Feynman, stated that the electron is responsible for all chemical changes in matter. Now, keep your mind on that right there about this electron. And what we're going to get into is a little bit. Alright, shit, I guess we get this shit in a minute.
Well, you gotta sit on the screen.
Alright. Alright, there we go. Alright, this is a periodical chart that you usually learn in biology or chemistry. And as we know that carbon is the sixth element. You go to the Old Testament, it speaks about in the book of Genesis that Adam was created on the sixth day. What it's actually talking about is not 6 days in the terms of a cycle of the sun traveling around, or the moon, or the earth, etc., etc. It's talking about actually in the fact of the number 6 itself is symbolic to carbon. All right, and as we know that there's 6 protons, electrons, and protons in carbon, in which that, you know, according to the Black Sun by Peter Moon, he speaks about the fact that that's 666. All right. All right, it says all matter, living and non-living alike, is composed of chemical elements, substances that cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reaction. Chemists have identified 92 naturally occurring elements, ranging from hydrogen to the lightest to uranium to the heaviest. About 98, we say 99 of the organism mass is composed of only 6 elements. Once again, this goes back to the number 6, and the fact is that it's talking about oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, and phosphorus. All right, approximately another 14 elements are consistent present in living things, but in smaller quantities. Some of these things, such as iron and copper, trace minerals. All right, we go again with the number 6. The reason why we're dealing with that is because of the fact that there's been a lot of questions which have been posed to me as far as like, what does it mean as far as in the book of Genesis? What is it really talking about? You know, did it happen in the way in which that, you know, we was taught or believed or raised in, you know, in the church traditions? All right. We now know, of course, you know, according to metaphysics, you know, we got a whole different spin on some things. All right, right here, this is, of course, melanin. And if you see right here, it says God, all energy, cosmic energy, melanin man, all energy absorbing man, and use of cosmic energy. We're going to get into this in a little bit later and get into the fact of light and its sounds, lights and sounds effects upon the body. All right, we know that melanin is a dark fluid that resides in all the cells. All right, basically, you know, you got, you know, we know that it's secreted from the pineal gland between the hours of melatonin between the hours of 11 p.m. till 7 a.m. in the morning, and then serotonin from 7 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. at night. What is also said is that it is an electromagnetic web, all right, containing rotation mass of solid liquids and gases and electromagnetic plate. This is talking about specifically dark matter. And the science is that it said specifically is an electromagnetic web. If you go back to the ancient Kemetic teachings, as well as actually the African teachings, you find that they speak about Anansi. Anansi is the spider, all right, and in which that sped her web. And this is what this is symbolic to, is the fact of what physicists now call the string theory. All right, it says dark matter is the cosmic glue holding all things together, rapidly spinning galaxies and controlling the rate of which that the universe expands. Dark matter make up about 90% of the universe, and the scientists cannot account for the remaining 10%, which is the visible light spectrum. So basically, you got the ratio of 90, and 10. All right, well, that's not a strange coincidence, because you find out that scientists claim to use approximately 10% of your brain, and the other 90% you do not have access to, or they don't know how you can be able to tap into it. They don't know, they act like they don't know. But it's a real simple method. It's basically into the state of meditation. All right, and then it goes on. It says plasma in space is referred to as dark matter, as we would say external melanin or external DNA. All right. It also goes into the fact that the skin of your physical body, if you know what I'm saying, the bones and everything, under the skin was removed, the skin itself would just simply weigh 6 pounds. So once again, we got the number 6 again. You know what I'm saying? So now we got what? We got carbon, which comes up to the number 6, which is the 6th element on the periodical chart. We got the 6 elements in which that makes up the physical body. And now we got the fact that the skin itself weighs 6 pounds. Now this is some deep shit due to the fact that if the skin weighs 6 pounds, they said that if you were able to stretch it out, it would be able to be stretched out to approximately 18 feet. So that's approximately, once again, 6 plus 6 plus 6. All right. Now, if you look at the skin, it said 18 square feet. If you look at the skin, it's approximately 3 layers of the skin: the cuticle, the epidermis, and the mesoderm. All right. Now, it says one of the chief functions of the skin, of course, is that it helps maintain a constant body temperature, as well as also the fact that the skin helps also breathes, absorbs light, air, water, you know what I'm saying, as well as also if you use any type of body food products, you know what I'm saying, like if you use eggs or red apple vinegar or lemons or whatever, it would absorb it just like it does within your stomach. All right. Now, the reason why I'm dealing with the skin is because we're talking about surface melanin at the moment. All right. It says that according to Gabriel Cousens, MD, he's the author of Light Years Ahead. It states that the ability to absorb and radiate light directly leads to spiritual development and health. A decreased ability to absorb light leads to implied poorer health, and more concretely, a seasonal afflicted disorder, or what is called sad state. All right, that is a person who don't get enough light. All right, now if you got 7 chakras and it takes approximately 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the sun, that's 93 million miles away, for its rays to touch Earth, then basically you would have to know to calculate 8.20 times 7. So it would take approximately 57 minutes and 40 seconds as the sun touches your skin. That's the amount of time in which that it would be good that you stay outside in the sun in order to make sure that you get the full benefit of the full spectrum light as it resonates through your through your skin and awaken and make actually the full function of your chakras become the best activation as it possibly can. All right. So it takes approximately 57 minutes and 40 seconds. All right. Right now, it seems like, a lot of people work indoors and live indoors, you know what I'm saying, up under this artificial lighting system. So we're looking at, this lighting system here, is artificial. It's not full spectrum. So you got EMF, which is electromagnetic fields, in which that happens to have a tendency of disrupting your electromagnetic field itself. Like, for example, the power lines, the home wiring, transformers, computers, televisions, mobile and cordless phones, pages, beepers, microwaves, and other appliances. You know what I'm saying? According to Joseph McCullough, he makes mention of the fact that these emissions from these appliances can cause cancer, leukemia, birth defects, miscarriages, heart problems, chronic fatigue, cataracts, headaches, nausea, and other health problems. So it said that in order to correct this, you must have some type of full spectrum light inside of your home. You know what I'm saying? In other words, there's bulbs in which that you can get, in which that is called incandescent light bulbs, or what is called full spectrum bulbs, and that you can get. Now, this is some of the symptoms of being light-starved. Vitamin D deficiency, calcium deficiency, low immune functioning, neurotransmitter, neurohormonal problems, depression, suicide tendencies, seasonal afflicted disorder, fatigue, and irritability. So that's what happens when you don't get enough sunlight and this sun don't touch your melanin. All right? Now, we go into also the information about what is called Roy G. Biv, which is basically the science of basically visible light or white light, as we would call it. That's basically the same signs as your chakra system. All right, you're a melanated being. Approximately 90% of your body is filled with melanin. The other 10% is that of your chakra system. However, it takes the combination of the 10 and 90 in order to make that 100%. So what it is that you must activate those seals in which that has been inactivated from the time that you was born until the time in which that you came into some type of experience or information or some type of cosmic knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Through building with, you know, brothers and sisters on a higher wave level. You know what I'm saying? Now what happens is that when this happens, you know, and there's an exchange of energy in the talk, we talking about energy transmission. And what happens is that a person can actually take on, you know what I'm saying, the energy in which that is transmitted from the from another higher individual, and that individual can actually become, it can actually step up their level of consciousness. All right. For example, it says melanin responsible to and absorbs light, sound, music, electrical, and magnetic energies, and use these energies as food. So if melanin used these energies as food, then basically what it's telling you is that you got to make sure that you're getting fed the right food. What we just finished talking about is the wrong food, you know what I'm saying, in which that causes these deficiencies within your body. It says melanin can, of course, convert light energy into sound energy and back into, again, light energy. All right? We go into the sounds of Roy G. Biv. Of course, the root chakra is the color red. The navel chakra is orange. The solar plexus is yellow. The heart is green. The throat is sky blue. The third eye is indigo, and the crown chakra is basically purple or violet. White, and also gold. All depends on your level of higher consciousness. All right? Now, there's certain sounds in which that they're particular to each and everything. If you know the sound that an object can make, then you can control the level of activity produced by that sound. All right? Like the body is composed of many vibratorial patterns working together, you know what I'm saying, as a whole. You know, like for example, the long thigh bone, you know what I'm saying, have a longer resonant wavelength than, like for example, your small bone in your finger, in which that requires a short wavelength. Like the larger muscles, groups, and organs have a deeper resonance than the nervous system. And the rhythmic bass patterns will vibrate the denser tissues, and in doing so, it helps loosen the crystallized patterns in which has become entrained there. Basically, what that's talking about is the fact that there's certain energies, mental blocks or emotional blocks in which that become stagnated within your body due to negative experiences, and which that as the energy raises up, it must come through. The Kundalini energy must break through those seals, or what we call chakras, in order to illuminate you back onto the path of righteousness, as we would say. All right? Now, we got sounds in which that affects the organs. We went over this on a couple of tapes before, in which that there's certain vowels in which that helps illuminate the physical body. Like, for example, for a person who's attempting to open and awaken the third eye area, the sound in which that you would use is tho. That's T-H-O-H. The sound tho can actually awaken the crown chakra, the pineal area in the brain. There's another sound that's called That opens and awakens what is called the pituitary gland. All right, now, of course, the awakening of the pineal gland and the pituitary gland can also be awoken by the simple fact of being able to breathe deeply. Like, for example, at 4.5 breaths a minute, the pituitary gland becomes fully activated. At 3 breaths a minute, the pineal glands become fully activated. So if you want to awaken your third eye region, then you would basically deal with 4.5 to 3 breaths a minute, and that will awaken your third eye as well as also your crown area along with those 2 sounds. There's also other sounds in which that helps with that same area within your brain. All right, the I sound. The I sound awakens the pineal crown area. All right, the E sound. The E sound helps awakens the pituitary gland area. All right, now that's just for the third eye. There's a way in which that you can bypass the whole chakra system and receive the energy in which that you need via to your body through simply absorbing more energy through your third eye alone, but even having to mess with the other chakras. All right, this is taught in certain yoga schools. All right, in most yoga schools, they take you through the whole 7 principle. All right, so I'll take you through the 7 principles and the sounds in which that coincides to those certain glands in your body too, for those that never heard this before. For those that have, just bear with me because I got to do this for, for those that don't get it, because this shit is important. You have the A sound in which that helps opens up the throat chakra. All right. A. Then you have the heart sound, or the all right. Whenever you have problems within those regions of your body, these are the sounds that you should do in order to help break up the debris and the stagnation of energy in which that is there. Because if the Kundalini energy rises up and pierce those particular areas while you are emotionally and mentally imbalanced, it's gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna be straightforward with you. Your ass will have a heart attack fucking around and not removing the energy by doing these particular tones. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got like for example, people, everybody been in relationships, been hurt before. You just carry around that damn baggage and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, somebody next to you in which that might, that was close to you might pass, and so you real close to them or whatever. So your heart going out. In other words, you stress the fuck out, high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? Well, how you gonna it ain't shit that's going. You can take cayenne pepper and goddamn garlic all day long. That shit ain't gonna bring that shit down instantly until you learn how to first remove the stagnant energy in which that is resting there. Herbs are good, you know what I'm saying, but they're secondary. The first primary force within you is the power in which that lies within you. That's primary. All right, greater is he within you than he that is in the world. All right, Oral Roberts, y'all motherfuckers seen him before. Put your hands on the TV. You know what I'm saying? I need now $8 million. So the thing is, that you really have to, be particular with these sounds and do them properly, and it'll help, remove the stagnation energy, from within your body. The next sound is the which is the H-A-H sound, and it helps with the solar plexus. All right. If you have liver problems, the liver, for example, is the sh sound. All right. Then if you have spleen problems, the spleen deals with the manufacturing of the blood. All right. The sound for the spleen is ko, is the ka sound. All right. Next, for digestive problems, is the o, is the o sound. For the genitalia problems, all right, is you try to make your voice sound like a deep bass didgeridoo, basically. And actually, within ancient Kemet, there was a guide by the name of Hu, in which that was symbolic to the Sphinx, in which that when you went to the Sphinx, there was 3 questions that the Sphinx supposedly asked you, and if you didn't pass these 3 questions, then you would not become initiate or a high initiate within the order of the ancient mystery schools. Well, one of the questions would be about the sound Hu, and it's known that Hu is the sound in which that helps resonate the Kundalini energy, and it helps awaken the Kundalini energy from out of its resting state, or half sleep state, as they say, which wraps 3.5 times core you at the base of your spine. All right. Now, when we're talking about the serpentine fire, we got to talk about what did the ancient Kemet call it? All right. In ancient Kemet, you had the word Nagu. All right, N-G-U. And then you also had the word Naga, N-G-A. All right, N-G-U was the word in which that equated to the word king. N-G-A was the word in which that equated to the word queen, all right, or royalty. So you go to India, or you sit amongst the pre-Davidians, or the Tamils as they was called at that time period. They had a group in which they was called the Nagas. The brother spoke on that yesterday. All right, we're gonna get a little bit more deeper into that information, because you took some of my thunder yesterday. But seriously, if you go to Sudan, you will find in Kush, you'll find certain tribes in which that still refer to themselves as the Nagas. So that means that when Herodotus, who was supposedly a Greek father of historian of history, for the Greeks, when he went into Egypt, what happened is that he said that there was 2 so-called Ethiopian type of groups. He said there was one in the west and one in the east. This is what he was referring to, was talking about the Naga people, all right? And then you come to find out that the word Naga migrated throughout the world. All right, like for example, this is one of the articles. It says Naga, the serpent. It's by Soto Korania. It says the word Naga is the root in Sanskrit, which means serpent. In the East India pantheon, it is connected with the serpent spirit or the dragon spirit. So whenever you go to ancient Kemet, you find out that, really is that, like for example, not ancient Kemet also, but China, you find that the spirit is that of a dragon, which coincides with that of the serpent, one and the same. It's talking about the Draco constellation, as well as also Ophiuchus, which is actually now the 13th zodiac sign, as it is now being moved into through the equator. I guess you can say the equator of the zodiac is moving into, right, it's between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So that is now becoming the 13th sign. So, for astrologers, now astrologers will have to go back and begin to incorporate Ophiuchus into it. And the word Ophiuchus within the Greek terminology means serpent bearer. And if you ever seen a picture of him, which we're going to get to a little bit later, he's actually have a serpent within his hands. And this is reminiscent of Moses in the Old Testament, that he shall lift up the serpent in the wilderness. All right? And that's what that was actually talking about. When he lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, physically for you, it's talking about you lifting the Kundalini energy up within yourself, which the wilderness would be that of the lower nature. All right? And then it says the symbolism. It said the Nagarjuna of India, for example, shown with the aura, a halo of 7 serpents, which indicates a very high degree of initiation. The symbolism of 7 serpents. Now, that's deep, because you go back to the book of Revelations. It speaks about this so-called beast, in which that comes from up out of the waters, and it has 7 heads. Well, this obviously is the same exact beast. Well, what happened is that when the Europeans took over into certain locations, what happened is that he perverted the teachings and made the Naga teachings forbidden to be taught. Because when a person became a true Naga or a true nigger, what happened was is that they became God. The word Naga is actually equated to the word God. And we're going to get into that. And it says right here, it says the avenue leading to the temple is a line of 7-headed Nagas. And even in Mexico, we find the word Naga, which becomes Nagal. And also in ancient Lemuria, you find the word Nagal, N-A-A-C-A-L. So this is a word in which that's been around for over 90,000 years on the planet alone. And said right here, in Naga, we give the form of a dragon, which is closely directed with the emperor, or the pharaoh as we now call it, and is known as the son of heaven. While in Egypt, the same association is termed king initiate. It says right here is that in China, it is said they have originated with the serpent demigods, and even to have spoke their language, Naga-Krita, for a... Okay. Right. And it says, of course, in Genesis, is the serpent and the Naga who instructed the new infants, which is talking about humanity and what is called the knowledge of good and evil. The Christian church has unfortunately transformed the initiate teacher into a tempting and negative demon character. Naga is one of a handful of rare words surviving the loss of the first universal language, Nagal. In Buddhism, wisdom has always been tied symbolically to the figure of the serpent. In the Western tradition, it can be called, and actually it can be found, the Christ in the Matthew's the 10th chapter, the 16th verse. It says, "Be ye wise as serpents, and but yet harmful as doves." Now, right here we found in the Nile Valley Contribution to Civilization by Anthony T. Broder, he breaks down the fact that the ancient Kemetic name for king is Nagu, N-G-U. While in Kemet, the same association is termed the king initiate. When you go into the coffin text, which is one of the books in which actually is one of the texts in which that the Dead Sea Scrolls or the, not the Dead Sea Scroll, but the Book of the Dead or Coming Forth by Day and Light, Day and Night actually was translated from. It says, "I am Atum, the creator of the eldest gods. I am he who gave birth to Shu. I am the great Hishi. I am he who did what seems good to him. I take my space in place of my will. Mine is the space of those who move along the path of two, the serpentine circle." All right. Now, this serpentine circle, I'm not going to get into it because for those that was here yesterday, the brother did a fantastic job talking about it. Brother Tefaru. But I'm going to go into just some of the words in which that extends from that. All right, you got the word Nyoku, or Noyuki, which is Swahili, which means serpent. You got the word Noga, which means serpent, from out of Africa. You got the word Nuk or Nick, which is the origin of the African sound in which that produced the word. It says, according to the Metaneta by Raoul Neffel on page 63, you got the word Naka or Nada, which is talking about undifferentiated energy matter to give rise to the ninth manifestation. The ninth manifestation is known to us as the mother of all living things, which would be symbolic to Eve, or in which that the later form would be that of Mary, the Black Madonna. All right. And it says right here is that Jeremiah maintained that the Y in the names is not a primary sound, but rather a later evolved G sound. So what he's saying is that the Y later formed into a G, and that you get the word like Nana, or Nanya, in which that it became the word Naga. And that if you go to the native indigenous people, they still use the term Nanya right now, but it actually means serpent. The dragon, serpent, actually. It says the Dogon god serpent and the Kemetan god serpent are identical. It says the God serpent is called the one who dances in the shadows. In the Dogon pantheon, the seventh ancestor transforms into a serpent. All right. Now, what that's talking about is the fact that this 7 generations back on the mother and father side, in which that from those generations 7 back is what actually produced your physical existence here on Earth. So you would give homage to 7 generations back on your mother and father side for your physical manifestation, and that you yourself will be this serpent in which that now come manifested later on here. And it says that in the Dogon pantheon, from the sepulchre, the ancestor serpent raises up to dance underground in the darkness and to move towards the tomb of the oldest man. Now, what that is talking about is the fact that the dance is talking about the Kundalini energy raising up. And if you ever seen the Kundalini energy within books, it's always an elliptical pattern. It's always like this. This is what they're talking about, the dance. You see if you ever see the belly dancers, you know what I'm saying, you see them move in a serpent-like manner, back and forth. This is to awaken. This is actually within yoga too. This is to awaken the Kundalini energy, or that dance, all right? And as that dance goes up, it goes to the oldest man. That oldest man is talking about the soul in which that is embedded inside of the pineal gland, all right? It says also, according to African origins of biological psychiatry by Richard King, it says the name for serpents exists in hieroglyphics, where Nakis is interchanged with Nakad, and in an Egyptian hymn to Amen-Ra, the sun god, who is said to send forth his arrows against the evil Naga. And it says the Chaldeans taught that in most ancient times there was a race of what we call the serpent men, in which that they term, now they would term that as extraterrestrial, but it was talking about the Nagash-Na, which talking about who warred with Sut Typhon, all right, or the Titans. And it says China pyramids was built, the ones in which that was built in Vietnam, it was built by the Nahakis, which is talking about is basically the same word as the Nakites, all right, in which that later on within the Sumerian terms becomes the Anaki. All right. Actually, the word Anunnaki means the heavenly serpent, the serpent in the rainbow. That's where that story comes from. All right. So whenever they talk about the Anunnaki, it just don't mean those that came down from heaven to earth. It actually means Naki. The word Naki means serpent. The word Anu means heaven or sun. So it's the sun serpent or heavenly serpent. All right. And then it goes on also to the African word Naguru. And the word Naguru becomes later on within the Vedic text the word guru. And the word guru within the Vedic text means he who is enlightened. All right? And so if it was derived from out of ancient Africa, from the word Nagu, then you got to go back and find out what the word Nagu means. And the word Nagu basically means the serpent of light. All right? We go on. In the Amazon, they have a word in which that is called the Naga. We also find the word Nuguni, which is the Amazulu word in which that means the ancient ones. You have the different various African tribes in which that deals with that from the Amazulu traditions, which is called the Nuguni. And then you have also Nago Nayama, which means also serpent, or praise the name of the serpent. All right. Then you got the word NIGGER from out of ancient Kemet, which means the golden one. All right. If you ever seen the movie The Golden Child, that's what he was taking on a position of as becoming a Naga or a NEGGUR. All right. And it means the golden one. It's another name for Geb. All right. And Geb is another form of Tahuti. All right. And Tahuti is somebody to what? Wisdom. All right. So we go on. It says there's also you got the word Nebhiru, which becomes later on Nubiru. All right. A lot of people at the time was at one point thought it was a spaceship coming out the sky. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go into that a little bit later and show you that it's a spaceship right up in here. All right. Then you got the word nigger, of course. you know, within Webster Dictionary, at one time they said it meant one who was ignorant. Well, it's funny that, you know, we just did the research on this, you know, just, you know, with us talking just a few minutes ago, and come to find out the word nigger is actually derived from the word Naga, which actually meant he who possessed wisdom, all right, or the serpent bearer of wisdom. Of course, you got the country Niger, and the word Nigeria, or Niger as it's called in Africa. And there ain't no nigga running around talking about, y'all need to stop calling yourselves Nigers or Nigerians. All right, but you come to find out that the word Niger is the masculine form for the word Nagu, which means serpent king, which was the ancient term for the so-called pharaohs. The word pharaoh didn't come into existence until the 15th dynasty. All right, and that was by the HYKSOS. When the HYKSOS invaded ancient Kemet, they brought the term pharaoh. The word pharaoh means house of fire, which it was talking about your physical body and the fire in which that possesses or that dwells within the abode of your physical body, which would be the Kundalini energy. So that's still straight as far as them telling you know that was still talking about that science. But the thing is that they took away the true word, which was the word Nagu, all right, for the serpent king. And so Nigeria is derived from the word Naga, which means the serpent queen. So once again, these words was used throughout the whole world. Like for example, the word Nigina. The word Nigina is a Mesopotamian word, which represents the serpent of justice. You know, it's in the Canaanite traditions. As a matter of fact, it was a word closely related to Melchizedek, in which that later on becomes the Hebrew term for Melchizedek. All right? Because we know that Melchizedek comes from the word Michael, and the word Michael meant basically the angel of justice, or he who dares to be like God. All right? So we go into also the Naga Neges. The word Naga Neges within the Ethiopian word means the serpent kings of kings. All right? The Nag Hammadi text. The word Nag Hammadi means is an ancient Aramaic Hebrew scripture in which that means the serpent black guide. All right, the word Nagasaki, which was the place where the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which Brother Rich spoke about, he mentioned the other day also, which means basically the serpent spirit or the serpent life force. You get to the word Nagal from the Mayan. The word Nagal from the Mayan, it says it represents the serpent god. The word Nagal means the serpent god. Then you have the word Netter, in which that actually, it wasn't pronounced Netter, it was called Netcher. Netcher. That was pronounced N-E-T-J-E-R. The T became another J, so N, what? E-J-J-E-R became later on N-I-G-G-E-R, which basically ties you right back to the word Netter or Nesher, which means what? God or nature. Exactly. So once again, you know, it's right there within the ancient teachings. Then you have the word Neteruank. The word Neteruank basically means the life serpent giver, all right, which is the ancient Kemetic word also. Then you have the ancient term within Mesopotamia or Samaria, which called Negal. The word Negal means the serpent bearer, all right. Matter of fact, excuse me, the serpent bearer of, and the serpent bearer healer. And then, of course, you got the word, we just finished breaking down the word Anunnaki, but the word Naki is the same word as Inky, in which that later on becomes within our word the word snake. If you take that, if you move that, make the S small and you capitalize the N-A-K-E, that is Naki again within the word snake. All right? Then you have also within the Sumerian text the word Shub-Niggurath. All right, which was also a Sumerian name for the word God. All right, we go on. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, this is all over the world now. Then you got the word Nagu, Nagurumata, and Nagumina. All right, in which that basically means the serpent bearers of light, the masculine form and the feminine form. And this is from the Maasai tribe. All right. Then you go on further and you got the word Naba, in which that the word Naba within Hebrew and Arabic basically means prophet, or one who is able to see. But you got the word Nebo, you got the word Naba, and you got the word Nabaru, or Nabawa. And it all comes out to actually mean not just one who is able to see, but it's actually talking about the serpentine fire as it reaches the pineal gland. So therefore, it actually comes back to the origin of the word snake again, or serpent again. All right? As well as also the word Nubia, or Nuba. The word Nuba, Naba, Nibu is all the same word. Only thing you have to do is just take the vowels out and you still have the same consonants. You know what I'm saying? And the word consonants come from the word constant, and the word constant means that which remains the same. So there is going to be no difference as far as the definition of this. It says the word Nahas is another word for Nubia, and it means snake. Then you go on, the Babylonian word for Naba, which we were just talking about, and the word Nebo, in which that is related to the word Nubu, or Nuba, is talking about, is also related to the Hebrew Assyrian word Nebo, which means prophet or eye, or the all-seeing eye of the serpent. All right. Now, it's a known fact that within the Buddhist text, they speak about the five baskets of Buddha's sin. It speaks about the fact that that there was a cobra in which that came up over top of the head of Buddha. All right, and that inside of Buddha there was a royal gem, or a precious gem, all right, in which that sat in his head. Now, that precious gem, of course, we come to find out now is the same gem in which that, you know, in the Bible, it tells you about this throughout the Old Testament and New Testament, about the stone that the builders refused. All right, that stone that the builders refused within Freemasonry becomes the philosopher's stone. All right, that becomes the precious gem. All right, we go on. It says the word Nagish means snake in man. The word Naginra means the king of snakes. The word Naga-Raja means the king of serpents, or serpent king. The word Naga-Bushenah, it says one who wears the serpent as an ornament of Shiva. So Shiva's symbol was that of a snake also. All right? And then it says Naga-Kanya. The word Naga-Kanya means the serpent in the rainbow, or the snake of the rainbow. All right? Matter of fact, the Naga-Kanya had the 7 heads. It was called the 7-headed Naga, which we just finished talking about according to the book of Revelations. Then you have the word Naga, Lashimi, which means the queen of serpents. All right? Then you have the word Naga Mani, which means the mind of the serpents. Once again, in the ancient times, the serpent was symbolic to wisdom. It was never something in which that was derogated down to, you know what I'm saying, as something in which that was evil. All right? We have come to believe that. So therefore, this is what Bobby is talking about as far as the worshiping of Lucifer, and this is what Phil was talking about the other day. This is what they talking about. It's talking about the current, or that which is current, is energy. You know what I'm saying? It's not an actual snake in which that dwells in you. It's a current. You know what I'm saying? And as this current, it has wave patterns. And as it comes up, it goes in an elliptical pattern up the spinal column through what is called your Ida and your Pingala and the Sushumna. All right? As it comes up, it pierces the veil of Isis. And the veils of Isis is nothing more than the 7 seals. All right? And which is mentioned in the book of Revelations, which becomes later on within the Hindu text, or within the Hindu text is nothing more than the 7 chakras. All right? Then you have the town in which that Jesus was said to have come from, Nazareth. The word Nazareth actually means the town of the serpent. He was a Nazarene. He was a Nazarene, which means serpent healer. Hold up, that is the same symbol on your medical. Hold up, have y'all ever seen the medical symbol? What is the medical symbol? The medical symbol is 2 serpents in a elliptical pattern going up towards a pole, which is the ball at the top of the pole, which is symbolic to your spinal column, and that ball at the top is symbolic to your pineal gland. And then you see the wings come out, in which that represents the expansion of the left and right hemisphere of the mind, of the brain, in which that is nothing more than expansion of the mind. So, and guess what? They said that is the healing symbol of the world. Everybody basically use that same symbol in the world now. All right, as we know, it's called the symbol of Tahuti. It's called the symbol of Hermes. It's called the symbol of Mercury. It's called the symbol of Nagal. It is the symbol of Nagal, which is, once again, we just want to tell you that Nagal meant serpent king, or the serpent god, actually, excuse me. So this is what is going on. And it says right here that Nazarene, or Naz, as a matter of fact, the word Naz within the Holy Quran means serpent. Naz was supposed to have been El-Kanaz, who whispers within the ears of man. All right? And here it is right here. It says also Nasir, Ansar, Naz, which is nothing more than, you'll find the word later on within the Greek word, which is Gnostic. Naz, Gnostic. It's the same word, Gnosin. So it's telling you right there, what does Gnosticism or Gnostic means? It means knowledge, recognition, intuitiveness. It means serpent. So it goes further on. It says that word Gnosticism or Gnostic is derived from the word Essene. The word Essene means healer. All right, once again, going back to the medical symbol. Then we get into, right here, Nazarite. All right, and Nazarite means wise serpent. Then you have the word Nahua, which is a Mexican word in which that means serpent. All right. Then you have this, you have Apollonius of Tyana, who's supposedly been a Christ figure during the first century, which was supposed to be some years after the so-called birth of Christ, and that he was supposedly a philosopher. Well, guess what? He got taught by the Nagas. And guess what was the principles in which that Apollonius supposedly exhibit? He's supposed to have been a vegetarian. He's supposed to have been a healer. He's supposed to have been one who have mastered wisdom of creation. All right. Now, we're going to get into the numerology of some of these words here. Like, for example, you got the word nigger. If you do A equals 6, B equals 12, you know what I'm saying, C equals 18, and you continue on with this, with the 6, that 6 is symbolic to the Chaldean numerology. All right, Chaldean is supposedly with the land in which that Abraham came out of. He supposedly came from out of, he was a Chaldean, and he supposedly came out the land of Ur, meaning fire. All right? Now, you add all of that up, but you're going to find that this shit comes up to 360. The word nigger comes up to the word 360. I mean, to the numeral 360. Completion. Now, that's deep because you're going to find out that within ancient Kemet, that they had a symbol for this completion. All right, within the Orient, it's called the small heavenly microcosmic orbit, in which that they would bring the Kundalini energy up from the navel chakra, up through the root chakra, up the spinal column, to the brain, and then back down to the navel chakra once again, and make a complete circle and keep it rotating as such. The ancients never just kept the Kundalini energy up in the brain area. That would shrink your dicks, brothers. If you kept the energy up here, then that means that the energy is not circulating down here. And if you want to continue being a sexual being and want to participate in such, as we know that sex is the quickest way in order to enlightenment, then you would not want to keep the energy trapped up here in the mind area. You will hold it there in order that it can awaken the brain areas, and then you will circulate back down to the navel chakra, to what is called the Dantian within the Orient. Now, we got some pictures in which that coincides with that. Within Egypt, it will be called the Shin, S-H-E-N. Within the Orient, it's called Shin, S-H-I-N. It means spirit. It means spirit. All right? Now, what's deep about this is that the method in which that is used in order to create holding the tongue against the roof of the mouth connects to the governing and the conceptual vessels and form what is called the small heavenly circle or the microcosmic orbit. So the tongue would be up at the top or at the roof of the mouth near the hard palate, all right, which is actually right behind the teeth area. When you do that and visualize the energy going up and back down again, what you do is not just open up the chakras in the back, but also illuminate the chakras in the front, because it's polarity, all right? The same way that you have your third eye chakra, well, you got one in which that is situated right here in the back of your head, in which that is called the mouth of God, is what opens up and activates what is called the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is called the mouth of God. Within ancient Kemet, it was called the open mouth ceremony. That's what the whole open mouth ceremony was based on, was bringing back into recognition your past life regressions. It was like a rebirthing process. This is where the rebirth or the birth or the being born again Christian concept comes from. It's from the open of the mouth ceremony. So what happens is that when the mouth is open, we're talking about right here, the medulla oblongata, what that does is give you your powers of what is called basically photographic memory. And having photographic memory basically gives you the ability in order to do what? To remember everything in which that you see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. And that's the whole point of you being here, is to magnify your senses, even to the level of what? ESP. But you got to go through your senses first, being magnetized to the point of ESP, so that you can know the correlation between touch. Touch would be correlated to psychchemistry. You would know the correlation between seeing. Seeing would be clairvoyance. You would know with hearing. The ESP correlation would be clairaudience. You would know the difference with the smelling. That would be called clairsentient. Then you would know also with the what's left? Touch. Yeah, no, we did touch. That was the first one. Taste. That would be called clairgustance, which is spelled G-U-S-T-A-N-S. I mean, G-U-S-T-A-N-C-E. Clairgustance. Yeah, that's it. But that would be, those are the correlations to those five senses, or those five higher ESP powers, all right? Which basically give you the ability, like for example, just having ESP, you know what I'm saying? There's a way in which they say that you can put it's called remote viewing nowadays, you know what I'm saying? The angel just said that you're just able to place your mind in any location or event. Well, one of the simplest techniques in order to do so is simply slowing yourself down and breathing as deeply as you can, and putting your frequency on 4.5 breaths a minute. And then as you put yourself at 4.5 breaths a minute, what you would do is actually visualize the place in which that you want to go. So if you want to go to the moon, you would visualize yourself going there, and actually your mind would blink right there, just like Dream a Genie type of shit. I promise you. Try what I'm saying try what I'm saying out. I've done it. I've been to Mars. I'm telling you. You can do this. All right? The only thing I do is just visualize. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so when you say breathing, like deep breathing? Deep
diaphragm, that's right. Breathing from here. All right? And just slowing your breath down as slow as possible in correlation to 4.5 breaths a minute. If you need a watch, get one. You know what I'm saying? You know, 3 breaths a minute is fine too. That's real simple. That's even more simple in order to dealing with a half point. It's just like 3 breaths a minute. At 3 breaths a minute, your pineal gland is fully activated. The pineal gland itself is called the Spear of Thoth within the Holy Kabbalah. That is what is called the 4th Sephira, which is the 11th Sephira, and the number 11 coincide with the word abracadabra. And the word abracadabra has 11 letters in it. All right. Then you got male and female principle, in which that the man represents 6 points, the woman represents 5 points. When they get together, they form what is called the number 11, or the great works. So it's telling you that through sexual intimacy, practicing these breath techniques, zoom away to the moon, Alice. All right. Now, you got the word, like for example, let me see here. I ain't finished. Let me find that joint. Here we go. This is the ancient Kemetic form of this. This is the god Heru. As you see, the Heru lock, or the word now becomes the word warlock. This is where this term comes from. It's because of that lock. You see the Jews walking around, so-called Jews walking around here now, downtown Brooklyn and all over the place, you know what I'm saying, with this so-called lock hanging down from their hair. They stole that shit from right here. All right? Now, you look at it, what is that in which that is encircling him? Is the serpent. It's symbolic to the auric field, and it's also what it's symbolic to is the fact of the microcosmic orbit, which I just finished talking about. This is the a replica of it from the Orient. In other words, from China, in which that they practice these techniques in what is called Qigong. As you notice, oh, stay your ass right there. Oh, all right. It was trying. All right. Yeah. All right. All right, there we go. All right. As you see, right here, coming from this area here, up through what is called the conceptual vessel, down the governing vessel, and as you see, it makes an orbit like that. A circular motion, basically. That is what that was symbolic to, and what that we just finished showing you that the ancient Kemites used to practice. They never practiced bringing the Kundalini energy up to just the head area and leaving it there. They still like sex. I'm just saying that because, you know what I'm saying, when I hear people teaching on the Kundalini energy, they don't never tell you about bringing it back down. They just tell you about bringing the shit up. You know what I'm saying? And so when they just tell you to bring it up, you might as well just, fellas, you might as well just look for your penis to shrink about 1 inch or 2, your testes, you know what I'm saying, go from the size of, you know what I'm saying, golf balls to the size of a pea. All right? But anyway, right here go another picture of the same thing, and it actually shows you the science right here at the navel chakra. It's starting, if you can see it, it comes down to the within the woman to the ovary palace, to the males to the prostate gland, and then back up to the top of the head. All right, to the pineal gland, as you see right there, the pineal gland, or what is called the point when open, may feel guided by higher forces. All right, which radiates happiness. You know what I'm saying? And help us seeing auras and light. You know what I'm saying? So basically, that's what that does. And it's a known fact. In Matthew, the 22nd the 6th chapter, the 22nd verse, it speaks about when the eye is made single, the body will be filled of light. All right? The body will be filled with light. Now, let's get to something else here. All right? I got to shorten this. That's why I got to go through these papers here. All right. This is from the lessons, plus lessons of the nations, gods, and earths, and it speaks about the manifestation of the mind. All right, this is what it says. First, the mind created darkness, and all about this darkness existed the mind. And mathematical terms, from the lowest term to the highest form. The mind is the form of supreme power and force, that is the universal biochemical force and physical composition. The mind always existed and always will exist. It is the form that made the Alpha and Omega. All right. Now, let's get back to the word nigger. Because we want to keep the word, keep your mind on that Alpha and Omega portion. Because we want to break down the word nigger in another manner. Dealing with numerology. All right? Now, you see, multiplied by 6, it equals 360. So that's what this was talking about. This is how you become a true Naga, is by circling the energy through your whole body like that and such, which is called a small microcosmic orbit or a small heavenly orbit. All right? Yeah, I don't know why I'm erasing this side, but anyway. All right. If you do what is called the Chaldean, there's another form of the Chaldean method in which that the number 1 equals AIJQY, number 2 equals BKR, number 3 equals CGLS, number 4 equals DMT, number 5 equals EHNX, number 6 equals UVW, number 7 equals 0, which is OZ. Number 8 equals FP, and number 9 equals basically dealing with the constellation, not constellation, but planets, Mars and Pluto. Actually, they're all in regulations. Like, for example, the number 1 is the sun, number 2 is the moon, number 3 is Jupiter, number 4 is Uranus, number 5 is Mercury, number 6 is Venus, number 7 is Neptune, number 8 is Saturn, and number 9 is Mars and Pluto. All right? Now, when you break it down, you'll come to the number 5 for N, number 1 for I, number 3 for G, 3 again for G, number 5 for E, and number R for 2. And it comes up to what? 19. The number 19. That's Alpha and Omega. Number 1 is Alpha, number 9 is Omega. All right? The beginning and end of numerology. Of the numeral values, I should say. All right? Now, you find out that according to this physicist by the name of, well, he's a scientist. He used to work for NASA, Dr. Richard Hoagland. Y'all heard of him? Yeah. Okay. He got this theory, what is called a hyperdimensional theory. All right? The hyperdimensional theory, in which that you can take a 6-pointed star and place it over each of the planets, and at 19 degrees, you will see an upswelling of energy deriving from out of that particular area at 19 degrees. Now, it's known that this energy, like for example, on the sun, it will be in the same area where those sunspots activities are taking place right now. When these solar flares or coronal mass ejections are happening, you know what I'm saying, right now as we speak, which supposedly only supposed to happen every 11 to 22 years, but the shit been going on for the last 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Something's wrong. Come to find out that the sun's solar plasma has increased 1,000 times. It has increased 1,000 times. So the sun is no longer fucking around with people down here. In particular, you know, those with no melanin. Or lack of melanin. Or insufficient amounts of melanin. You know. Pale man. Right. You know. But the thing is that you come to find out is that there's a direct correlation to the greenhouse effect, or what is called global warming, and the way in which that the energy from the cosmos is being trapped within our so-called atmospheres. All right, there's 7 atmospheres, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I ain't got too much time right now, but let me hurry up and go. All right, that's according to this method right here. So it comes up, the word nigger comes up to the number 19 using this method. Once again, talking about this upswelling of energy. Well, this is talking about the Kundalini energy in which that upswells within you at 19 degrees, which is talking about right here at the base of the spine. The base of the spine is actually within your body, being that it is part of what is called the golden mean ratio, which is the Dantian. It is directly located right here on the other side. The small back area, which is called the sacral bone area, is what houses the Kundalini energy. All right? Is what houses the Kundalini energy. It's a small rectangular shaped bone. All right? So the word nigger comes up to the number 19. All right, let's go on. When you're using what is called Pythagoras numerology, so-called Pythagoras numerology, we know Pythagoras gave credit back to the ancient Kemites, so we'll call it the Kemetan numerology actually. You find out is that if you use, like for example, A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, like for example, 1 would be AJS. 2 would be BKT, 3 would be CLU, 4 would be DMV, 5 would be ENW, 6 would be FOX, 7 would be GPY, 8 would be HQZ, and 9 would be IR. All right? So you're using that method, 5, 9, 7, 7, 5, 9. It comes up to the number 42, as in the 42 principles of Ma'at. Now this is deep. So once again, we just finished figuring out the word nigger using the Mesopotamian numerology. It comes up to the number what? 360. Then we use the Chaldean method, which is still part of Mesopotamia, that same area. It comes up to what? The number 19. Now we just use the Pythagoras slash, you know what I'm saying, actually the ancient Kemetic way of doing it, and it comes up to the number 42. Now this is deep because that means that you got the number 360 representing the complete cipher, and you got the number 19 representing Alpha and Omega, which is what? A complete cipher. And then you got the number 42 representing 4 plus 2 represents the number 6. Remember, we did that a little bit earlier. 6 is some what? We told you there were 6 what? Elements in which that made up the physical body. That the skin is what? 6 pounds. That what? There's 6 protons, electrons, neutrons, which is carbon is the 6th element. So this means that the number 42 actually takes you back into the law of Ma'at, of balance. All right? We know that there's 42 laws of Ma'at. That's what that is told to us, right? All right. Well, what's interesting is that there's 64 permutations of DNA. And out of the 64 permutations of DNA, there's 22 so-called, quote-unquote, amino acids. That only leaves how many left? Damn, there you go. So that means that you have within you the guide gene in order to resurrect what? Missing amino acid particles, in which that actually is what the brother was talking about earlier, is the guide gene, which is talking about the gene, the gen gene, actually. The word gen is that magic gene, you know what I'm saying, same word, you know what I'm saying, in which that helps taps you into that power and energy. All right? Now, let's go on. All right? Now, you got, let's do it this way here. Let's do it, let's do the word nigger through our alphabet, and let's see what happens. All right? All right. And of course, A is, A is 1, B is 2. Y'all get that. 26. All right. Well, A would be what? 14. I would be 9. G would be 7. G would be 7. 518. It comes up to the number 60. Well, hold up. What is the angles of each one of these? It's 60 degrees. Separation between each one of them. 6 sides, 60 degrees, and also, interestingly, it forms a hexagon, which is called a hexagram, or a sexagram, which is the number what? 6. Now that's, once again, here we go with the number 6. You know what I'm saying? Interesting. So the word nigger in every form breaks down to you being God. And back to what? This, you get what I'm saying? And back to Genesis, it tells you that man was created on the 6th day. So that means that there was a whole lot more behind that damn 6 days than what we've been taught, ain't it? Yeah, encoded, right. It's been encoded, ain't it? But this is in some, this information is in my book, y'all. I'm getting ready to close down in a minute. I don't got too much time here. I got enough time to say, okay. All right. All right. But everybody got this right here about the, yeah. All right. But the word nigger, all right, let's get back to the melanin thing. The word nigger means what? Black. Simple, right? That's what it's been told us throughout the whole time, that it means black. All right. We know that carbon is what? A black substance. All right. A derivative of carbon is what? Black melanin. So therefore, it's telling you that melanated beings or the serpentine beings are also the God beings. So this is what Only Bilal Muhammad meant by that the black man is God, or the original black man is God. This is what is meant by, you know, also, you know, so-called, you know, the G, you know what I'm saying, within Freemasonry. Phil put that up on the board the other day, you know what I'm saying, and it's talking about the spiraling effect of the universe, or the galaxies rather. The way also is the way in which that the energy comes down or swells up. That's what we just finished talking about, the number 19, and how in every area, like for example, I'll get into this and this will be my last thing. Like on the sun, we talking about the sunspots. That's where the activities take place and the upswelling of energy takes place. On Earth, that would be near the Hawaiian Islands, all right, at 19 degrees, in which that this energy upswells from. This is also the reason why you had Hawaii, in which that was actually the landmass in which that was left of the ancient lost city of Lemuria, all right? And then you also have the fact of you go to Jupiter and you put a 6-pointed star there at 19.5 degree angle, you will find the red dot, in which that is talking about that is the most what? Vicious type of storms or whatever occurs right there at the black dot area on Jupiter. So this, if you take this 6-pointed star, 19-degree angle, and put it on any planet in our solar system, it's going to come with an upswelling of energy. Once again, this is all symbolic to the fact of you represent, that you are a physical representation of the solar system itself, and at your 19-degree angle, there's also the upswelling of energy called the Kundalini energy. All right? So this is the whole key behind this. So this is what this is talking about. The last thing, I hope I got about 3 minutes. but right here, all right, right here. Now, melanin is a semiconductor, and there's a missing gap between melanin, all right? At low frequencies, such as VHF frequencies, which is very high frequencies actually, but it's not ultra high frequencies. At very high frequencies, you got the number, like you know, we did this illustration before, like you had an old TV, you would turn the channel from channel 2 to channel 13. All right, anything above channel 13 would be the channel U, in which that would take you into ultra high frequency from the number 14 to the number 83. All right, but what it's saying is that, this is the, right here in the Unk book by my man Amen. It says, as a semiconductor, melanin has an energy gap. The absorption of energy is required before electrons can jump into the conduction band and make melanin conductive. An increase in conductivity increases the sensitivity of melanin to the electromagnetic worlds of etheric beings, astral projections, and spiritual entities. At low frequencies, the conductivity of melanin is small, but at ultra high frequencies, which is UHF, which if you notice, VHF had the antennas in which that pointed up like that straight, which that was called the rabbit ear antennas. At UHF though, they had this symbol here, in which that would be the same as the ohm symbol. But this symbol within ancient Kemet is called Shin. In the Orient, in China, it's called Shen, and it means spirit. So we just finished saying that at this very high frequency, it's able to tap you into what? The spirit world, basically. And it says right here, the maximum current flows only on the skin. It says right here that melanin is a superconductor at very high frequencies. Melanin is a superconductor at very high frequencies, all right? And this maximum current flows only on the skin. That's the reason why I only dealt with the skin issue tonight. Because this is where this is going to take place at, as far as you absorbing this melanin first through the skin. It says, due to the skin effects at melanin, UHF resonance frequencies. It says that melanin is the most important substance in the human body. It is an oxidized form of RNA. All right? Then we read right here that there is a great source of light entering. Matter of fact, we put it up here. There is a great source of light entering our solar system through the zodiac door of Leo, Lion, which is Leo, Segmot. This energy is altering our DNA. The supreme light is black light. This super color will allow the Mashiach Moors to connect to the higher orbital levels that are 7 energy states of the electron. The red end of the spectrum is the lowest or rest state of the electron, while the violet end of the spectrum is the highest energy state of the electron in terms of the visible spectrum. This higher color will raise the atomic structure of our physical bodies by causing all the electrons in the body to jump, quantum leap, at once breaking the 7 seals or 7 shells of the electron. The atomic structure of the brain must be sped up. Scientists today are now finding out that your molecular density works with certain frequencies of light, radiation, color. And when the color is changed, the molecular density is also changed. All right? Now, right here. It says that this, let me show you an example right here. This is black light. It says radiate energy and other forms of matter energy that is yet undiscovered. This means that subsequent discoveries will possibly reduce the white light portion down to an even smaller percentage of the total electromagnetic spectrum. But damn, if the white light is going, that must be white folks going too. But you know, that's another subject. Let's continue on, because I got probably about 2 minutes.
You know you can do that too. Spend time.
All right. This here is energy at the birth of life purpose. This energy of the sea of life is focused through the planetary grid onto our DNA. The moment of birth dedicates the polarization. See, I got 1 minute. The polarization of 12 different poles of emotion expressions. The earth acts as the lens at conception of birth, focusing stellar emotional consciousness, which is astral energy, into our DNA. These DNA encode patterns focus our behavioral characters for the duration of our incarnation, basically while we presently here. And if you notice, the energy is coming from the central sun, which is called the spiritual sun, in the Pleiades, which is called Alcyon. And as it comes down, it hits the constellation of the Great Bear, which Phil spoke about last night, which is symbolic to negativity, while as you see, it also hits Sirius, which is symbolic to positivity. And as the both energies correlates, they come down into our planets, and as you see, Earth get bombarded by all of that shit, in which that forms DNA in the formation of you. All right? This is the signs of zodiac, signs of constellation. And the reason why you must study astrology is because of this simple fact right here. All right?
Right, Will.
Hint, hint for more birth charts. All right, right here, energy from the black hole, space, time, singularity, which is the wormhole. And as you see right there, it speaks about how energy is pulled down through this wormhole, black hole. And as this energy comes out, it forms, what, 7 levels of consciousness. We done broke this down several times on different tapes about the 7 levels of consciousness: interpersonal consciousness, intrapersonal consciousness, life consciousness, subconsciousness, superconsciousness, magnetic consciousness, and infinite consciousness. These are the 7 levels of consciousness, and as it's pulled down, it creates a balance field right there. Energy becomes consciousness, and then it is sent directly to the earth for you can exist. All right. Damn, I only had one more part and shit. That was it, man. I hope I find that joint. All right, that's this here. All right, this right here is the auric field. The Earth auric field is disharmonious because mankind is not yet as a unit producing harmonious auric interchange with the surrounding nature and universe. The bulk of mankind, which is talking about the European, is called the growth resistant generation, or GRG. In other words, you know, they can't absorb none of this energy, and it's right here. And it says this is how we receive the energy. As you see, from the sun to Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, on and on. They say during the Jupiter effect, Earth produced waves of disharmony due to GRG. Cosmic chi, or Kundalini effect, is amplified by the Jupiter effect between the planets and the sun. Unfortunately, the chi is disturbed and sent out of balance as it passes by the earth. This causes fucked up thoughts. The more thoughts, negative thoughts we have, put more of a crystallization around the planet Earth, in which that is a negative field. So therefore, the chi is out of whack, and it says this disturbance is amplified as it moves towards the sun. And then the sun does what? It sends this shit right back at your ass. Then either during the spring or fall equinox, this energy goes into the sun, and the sun reacts with increased solar flare activity. And it says this energy is so negative that it hits the sun and produces a bullet hole effect. That's what caused the damn hole in the ozone. The sun is saying it's time to get some of these motherfuckers off. But that is it for me.